The stadium was silent, yet the air itself seemed charged with tension, as if every breath was holding its own secret. In the shadows of the dugout, the whispers began. He's not right, he's nursing something in his shoulder. Nobody said it aloud, but the unease was palpable. Every coach, every teammate, every fan watching from afar could sense the fragile line between brilliance and vulnerability. Yamamoto Yoshinobu stepped onto the mound, his eyes calm, almost unreadable, but behind them flickered the faintest shadow of doubt. The last week had been grueling. The pain in his shoulder, subtle yet insistent, had threatened to unravel the rhythm he'd spent years perfecting. And yet here he was, standing tall, the weight of expectation pressing down like 1,000 unseen hands. The first pitch left his hand with a whisper of defiance, slicing through the autumn air with surgical precision. But for those watching closely, there was a hesitation, a split second where the spin felt different, the delivery just slightly off the mark. That moment, invisible to the casual viewer, was a heartbeat of suspense, a crack in the armor of a pitcher who had seemed invincible for so long. The crowd roared with anticipation, the energy bouncing from the stands to the field and back again. Yet in that noise, only a few could sense it, the strain, the silent question hovering over every throw. Can he keep going? Can he overcome this pain? Every fan, every commentator, every soul witnessing this battle held its collective breath. Yamamoto's gaze locked on the catcher's mitt, the world shrinking to the small, leather target that represented everything he had fought for. Pain lanced through his shoulder, sharp and insistent, but he ignored it. Ignoring it wasn't arrogance, it was necessity. He had a duty, not just to himself, but to the team that had trusted him to carry them through the storm. Every pitch became a narrative in itself. Fastballs, curveballs, sliders, they weren't just pitches, they were declarations. Each throw shouted, I am still here. I am still fighting. And yet, there was a vulnerability woven into every movement, a delicate balance between triumph and collapse. The batter stepped up, eyes narrowing, scanning for weakness. There was a rhythm to this duel, almost like a dance, each step measured, deliberate. And yet the pain threatened to disrupt it, a shadow lurking behind every pitch, waiting for the moment to strike. But Yamamoto didn't falter. Not visibly. Each throw carried the weight of countless hours of preparation, a lifetime of sacrifice. Every muscle, every fiber of his being screamed, but the mind remained resolute. This was more than a game, it was a testament to endurance, to resilience, to the human spirit. The opposing team began to notice it. A flicker of hesitation, a subtle change in timing. The whispers from the dugout had not been wrong. But experience, honed instincts, and sheer determination allowed Yamamoto to mask it, to turn vulnerability into strategy. Pain became a secret weapon, hidden behind a veneer of controlled precision. The inning stretched on, each pitch a heartbeat of tension. The crowd leaned forward, as if proximity could pull them into the drama unfolding on the mound. And all the while, the pain in his shoulder pulsed like a silent drum, a reminder that greatness was never without cost. A batter swung and missed. Strike 3. The crowd erupted, yet Yamamoto barely reacted. Inside, a storm of adrenaline and pain collided. Every ounce of discomfort was met with an equal measure of willpower. He had walked the knife's edge before, but tonight, that edge was sharper, more personal. Between innings, the dugout was a hive of concern. Coaches approached, hands on shoulders, voices low and urgent. But Yamamoto simply nodded, a small gesture that contained multitudes. He didn't need reassurance, he needed the field, the mound, the moment where the world narrowed to the spin of a ball and the beating of his heart. As the game progressed, something extraordinary began to unfold. The pain did not define him, it refined him. Every pitch became more precise, more intentional, more dangerous. It was as if the shoulder, once a source of fear, had become an instrument of storytelling, each throw a line in a narrative of defiance. Fans at the stadium began to whisper, is this the same Yamamoto we've always known? And the answer was yes and no. He was the same in skill, but transformed in spirit. The adversity had carved out something new, a deeper layer of determination, a fiercer edge that had not been there before. A key moment came late in the game. Bases loaded, tension stretching like a taut wire across the stadium. The batter was formidable, known for his devastating swing. And yet, Yamamoto's eyes betrayed nothing. He wound up, the ball leaving his hand with a precision that seemed almost cruel in its perfection. Strikeout. The inning ended, the pressure dissolved, and the crowd's roar reached a fever pitch. Back in the locker room, the truth of his performance emerged. Coaches and teammates exchanged looks, a mix of awe and relief. Yes, there had been pain. Yes, there had been struggle. But what they had witnessed was something far greater than skill. It was courage made manifest, resilience etched into muscle and bone. The narrative of the night spread like wildfire. Commentators, fans, and social media alike marveled not just at the victory, but at the human drama behind it. Yamamoto had faced the invisible opponent, his own physical limitation, and emerged not only unbroken, but transcendent. Every pitch, every strikeout, every stolen base that night became part of a legend, not of flawless technique, but of willpower, heart, and the quiet refusal to yield. It was a reminder that heroes are defined not by ease, but by how they confront the impossible. And in that confrontation, something miraculous happened. Pain was no longer an adversary, it became a measure of triumph. Each grimace, each subtle adjustment, each whispered reassurance to himself became a testament to the unyielding human spirit. By the end of the game, the stadium pulsed with a strange, almost sacred energy. People had witnessed something rare, not just an athletic performance, but a story of vulnerability, bravery, and ultimate redemption. Yamamoto had not just thrown pitches, he had narrated a saga of resilience that would linger long after the final out. The fans chanted, the cameras flashed, but Yamamoto remained quiet, almost reflective. His shoulder still ached, but the ache was now intertwined with pride, with a sense of purpose fulfilled. The pain had tested him, but it had not conquered him. In interviews later, he spoke with humility, revealing fragments of the struggle the public could barely see. Yet even in words, there was no regret, only a recognition that greatness often wears a mask of suffering, and only those willing to confront it truly understand its depth. Sports analysts dissected every pitch, every subtle movement, but the true lesson was intangible. It was in the heartbeat before the first throw, the grit behind every curveball, the invisible battle that raged in silence yet defined the outcome. Yamamoto Yoshinobu had reminded everyone why they loved the game, not just for runs or wins, but for the stories of endurance and courage that unfolded in real time, on a mound bathed in tension and possibility. And as the stadium lights dimmed, casting long shadows over the empty seats, a profound sense of awe lingered. Tonight had been more than a game. It had been a journey into the very essence of perseverance, a quiet sermon on the power of will and the beauty of confronting what seems insurmountable. Even the most skeptical observers could not deny it. A pitcher had carried the weight of pain, expectation, and doubt, and transformed it into art. Each strike, each motion, each fleeting glance told a story deeper than statistics, more compelling than any highlight reel could convey. In the quiet aftermath, Yamamoto's figure on the mound became a symbol. A reminder that true greatness often blooms not in comfort, but in struggle, not in ease, but in the relentless pursuit of mastery despite the odds. The whispers of doubt had not vanished, they had been silenced by action, by courage, by a display of strength that transcended the physical and touched something eternal in everyone watching. As fans recounted the night, the focus was not merely on victory, but on character, on resolve, on the quiet defiance of limits. Yamamoto had thrown more than pitches, he had thrown a message into the world: pain does not define you. Courage does. The narrative would be told and retold, becoming legend, becoming inspiration. Young athletes would watch and learn that vulnerability is not weakness, that facing your limits can reveal the extraordinary within the ordinary. And yet, the most remarkable truth remained intimate, almost secret. The pain in his shoulder, real and persistent, had been acknowledged, confronted, and ultimately transcended. That was the real victory, hidden behind the roar of the crowd and the flash of cameras. In that fleeting, sacred moment, the essence of sports revealed itself. It is not simply competition. It is storytelling, struggle, triumph, and above all, the raw humanity of those brave enough to confront what scares them most. Yamamoto Yoshinobu had faced the storm, and emerged as more than an athlete. He was a testament, a living, breathing narrative of resilience that no scoreboard could ever quantify. As the night settled into memory, the echoes of that mound lingered. Every fan, every teammate, every coach carried a piece of the lesson, that greatness is forged in the crucible of challenge, and courage often walks hand in hand with pain. And for Yamamoto, the truth was simple yet profound. The shoulder ached, yes, but the heart soared. The game had been won, but something far greater had been claimed: the quiet, undeniable victory of spirit over circumstance. In the end, the story was not just about a single game, a single strikeout, or a single pitch. It was about what it means to rise when the odds are stacked, to endure when pain whispers doubt, and to shine when the world expects darkness. Yamamoto Yoshinobu walked off the mound that night, not as a man untouched by fear, but as one who had conquered it. And in that triumph, everyone watching felt it too, a quiet, resonant hope that sometimes, against all odds, we can rise above what seems impossible. The legend of that night would endure. Not because of stats or records, but because it told a story older than the game itself, the story of courage, resilience, and the unwavering human spirit. And long after the lights faded and the cheers subsided, the truth remained. Yamamoto had not only played the game, he had redefined it. He had shown the world that pain can be endured, doubt can be conquered, and that the heart of a true champion beats strongest in the face of adversity.